What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Chris
And Mal.
Podcast, episode 81, Takeover Wednesdays. Hope everybody's having a good evening, uh, whether you're at work or you're at home, whatever you're doing tonight. Hope you're having a good evening. We got a lot of things to get to. We haven't been here in a while. We were here on Monday. It was Memorial Day. So, hope
Mm,
everybody had a good Memorial Day. You know what I'm saying? But we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, let's get to it.
let's do it.
And we are back. Chris Mall Podcast, episode 81, Takeover Wednesday. Mall, what is going on?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Nice holiday weekend, man. How was yours?
It was cool, man. Just chilled. Didn't really do too much. Um, yeah, just chilled.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
No
for sure.
barbecues, no nothing.
No, everybody had kind of did everything on Sunday, and I was at work. So,
Gotcha.
you know what I'm saying? So I
No, how
just
that go?
chilled at the crib. It's all good, though. We got a lot of topics to get into. So let's get to them, man.
Let's do it.
Um, let's talk about this list that the Ringer put up. NBA NBA players, NBA best players 25 and under list. I'm gonna pull it up right here. So 25, they had Rockets forward Jabari Smith Jr. 24, Cavaliers guard Darius Garland. 23 is Grizzlies guard Desmond Bain. Uh, 22, you have Rockets guard Jalen Green. 21, Hawks forward Jalen Johnson. 20, Hornets guard LaMelo Ball. 19, Grizzly forward Jaron Jackson Jr.
Mm,
18, you had Magic forward Franz Wagner. 17 is Charlotte Hornets forward Brandon Miller. Uh, it's a tie for 15 with Hawks guard Trey Young and Cleveland Cavaliers forward Evan Mobley. 14, you had Detroit Pistons guard Cade Cunningham. 13, Toronto Raptors guard Scotty Barnes.
mm.
12, Houston Rocket Center. Is that Apparine Seagrin?
Singoon.
Sengun.
Singoon. Yep.
10, tie was a tie with New Orleans Pelicans, Zion Williamson, Memphis guard Ja Morant. Number 9, you had Orlando Magic guard Paulo Banchero.
Hmm.
8, Thunder forward Jalen Williams. 7, Thunder center Chet Holmgren. 6, you have Philadelphia 76ers guard Tyrese Maxey.
Hmm.
5, Indiana Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton. 4, you have Mavericks guard Luka Doncic. 3, you had Thunder's guard Shai Gilgeous Alexander. 2, Timberwolves and Edwards. And then Spurs. Number 1 is the Spurs Wembyana.
Hmm.
So, what did you think of this list?
First of all, I think it's pretty. I think low key. I'm gonna start off with 17 with Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller should be a little bit higher. I was really impressed how he came on in the second half of the year. He definitely has like Paul George a flavor to him. His style, his aesthetic, the way he shoots. He can definitely
Mhm.
pull up. I think he's gonna get better. Obviously, you want to see him get better on the defensive end. So you definitely want to see that. I think Jared Jackson Jr. should be a little bit higher. I think he should be above Cade Cunningham.
Hmm.
I like Kate Cunningham's skill set, but I think just what I've seen so far, he's already had some injury problems too. None of his fault, it was crazy circumstances. But I think he should be a little bit lower down. I'll probably put him near around like where the LaMelo Ball situation is. I like Franz Wagner. I think they should be a little bit higher. I think Trey Young should be a little bit higher. Like I get the Scotty Barnes kind of situation, but I would probably have him probably closer to the 10 range. I think John Morant at 10 is kind of blasphemous for me. I get it that he had a lot of off the court issues with him keep flashing the guns and all that type of situation. But we cannot forget what John Morant was before all that was. You know what I mean? It's not like he
Hmm.
was derailed by injury. Like my man still is a healthy. Like yeah, he had the issue with the shoulder, but that's the shoulder. He'll be fine. He had to get surgery, but overall, like nothing impedes his athletic ability, his speed. He's still young. I think with him coming back next year, I think the Grizzlies can be a title contender.
Hmm.
Especially some of the pieces that can add to that team. I think John Morant should easily be in the top five. I would have him over Tyrese Maxey. I would have him over Tyrese Halliburton. He's in the same conversation to me with Luka, Shea, and Wemby. I think Wemby is the easy number one, just with the trajectory of him. And, we saw the freakish athletic ability that he has. He's already a dominant defensive player. Offensively, he's pretty much up there. He's only going to get better. He's only going to add more to the repertoire. The only thing with him is just that we need to see a little bit more strength within him. Not saying he needs to be the size of a Shaquille O'Neal or anything like that, but just work on the body frame a little bit. Work on them legs. Get a little bit stronger. But he's going to be a menace for a long, long time. Obviously, I can't really be mad. Like I'm not going to be mad if people want to put Luka to. I think number one should clear cut should be Wemby, but if you want to flip flop, two, three, four, or five, especially if you want to put John Morant up there, I'm not mad. I would probably have Shea Gilgeous number two for me. Then I'll probably have Edward or even Luca. It gets tough at that kind of scenario with that top five because now you're just picking and choosing. You're kind of picking the players that you like more, the flavor of it. Like a lot of people don't like Luka Doncic just be based off his his attitude towards the refs. A lot of people think he's complaining and stuff like that. But we see time and time again when it comes to the playoffs, he's one of the more dominant players. He's always shows up in the clutch situations. So yeah, overall, I would also probably have Paulo over Chet too. I would drop Jalen Williams down to 10 and then just kind of push everybody up. Zion Williamson, he should be competing in the top five situation. There's a lot of people when he first got drafted, they would have probably had him closer to one, but with all the injuries and all the off the court situations, man, it's kind of hard for him. So I'm kind of not mad with him being at 10.
For sure. Yeah, I'm with you with the John Morant thing. I think he should be higher. I think people, like you said, just seeing the off the court stuff and kind of held that against him.
Mm-hmm.
But as a player, they was talking the way they was talking about John Morant, they was talking about they was talking about him like they talk about Anthony Edwards right now. So
Yeah.
before all the the gun situation happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he should be higher. I think sometime next year they'll put him back in his right place. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because he'll come out and ball out and do his thing. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, like you said, man, it's kind of what your flavor is from after Wimbiana. I'm with you on Wimbiana. Just his projection and things that you see him do on the court is just it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you can't teach that size.
Size and the way he can handle the ball and
Mm-hmm.
he could shoot, like he could do it all.
Yeah.
And the things he's doing in the post, like big men shouldn't be able to do that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I saw the man Sham God somebody in the post.
Yeah, yeah, that shit was nuts, man. Boy, 7'6". You know what I mean? He really the
Yeah,
true Slim Reaper, man,
yeah,
for real.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, it's like for me, you know how I feel about Anthony Edwards. I'd probably have him at number two, but I'm not mad if somebody said Luca or Shea Gill is
Mm-hmm.
at the number two spot. Like those three spots can kind of be flipped.
Yeah.
Um, I'm with you on. I think Tyler Halliburton he's balled out this season, so I'm not mad if he's at number five. But I think I'd probably have John Morant at that spot
Yeah.
also. So,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, I think the list is fine. You know.
Yeah. Out of any players I could see like possibly move up like starting next year, I think Paulo, I could definitely see him
Hmm.
move up. I think Chet, he has the potential to move up. Tyrese Maxey, like we saw what he was able to do with Joel Embiid out. I could see him maybe I could see him definitely, maybe passing up Tyrese Halliburton. No, nothing against Tyrese. I think he'll always be up there. You just kind of just see the totality of young talent that's in this league that we're going to be seeing. Like we're seeing the future right here. You know what I mean? This
Hmm.
is like with LeBron, KD, Steph, all those cats, that we grew up on the last almost 20 years. We seen those guys getting a little older, those guys kind of phasing out into life after basketball. This is what it's gonna be before our eyes, these next 20 years, man, including some of the other talent that's coming in the league in the next couple of years. Obviously, we got Bronny and a couple other cats, getting drafted this year. So it's exciting time, man. This also projects to me that the Vegas team that we get hopefully in the next couple years, man, we can get some young talent on there as well. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
expect Ty Lue to be the coach of that team. That's gonna be my wild prediction for that. Congratulations to Ty Lue. He did sign his contract extension today, so shout out to my guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Just exciting. It's a definitely exciting future for the NBA, just with all these names on this list.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, man. Let's let's talk about boxing. Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
So
Feel
the
like
B sample of his test came back.
mm-hmm.
Uh, he was. They said it was a positive test for
It was like Oscar.
Ostarine
Yeah.
on Thursday. They took the testing, I think, a day after his loss.
Mm-hmm.
They did samples in the middle of their training, and it came back, that it was negative in the middle of the training, and then they do it again, and just to see if he, possibly was using afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
so when they collected it, they found something was wrong. And like I said, the B samples came back that he was taking that. Ostering is a selective estrogen receptor modulator that attaches to proteins in the body, effectively signals for muscles to grow. It is used to aid performance by helping athletes build muscle mass, enhance their rate of fat loss, as well as to increase stamina and recovery ability.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on this, sir?
Obviously it's gonna leave a little bit of mark on with Ryan Garcia. He still came out and his team is still kind of saying like his samples were what's the word, tainted in a sense. So they're still dying on that sword. So, but as far as like my overall thoughts with, did it have an impact on the Devin Haney fight? I still don't think so. I think with the style of the fight, you just kind of saw that Ryan Garcia was just, I don't know. I feel like he outsmarted Devin a little bit, just with like in the sense of Devin never really kind of adjusted to the whole situation with Ryan Garcia's, go-to punch, with that
Hmm.
with that left hook. So I don't know if that would have made much of a difference, but at the end of the day, people, Ryan Garcia has like this new whole style of kind of like way he wants to portray himself in the boxing, outside of boxing and in boxing. He's not the same kind of like humble kid that we saw growing up. You know what I mean? Where he had like kind of like that little kid uh, flavor to him, and he had the flamboyance of the way of his style and his speed. But now he's just seemed like he's just turned into this like weird character that no one kind of saw him becoming.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of interested to see what the future may hold with Ryan Garcia. I think with the way he kind of like is portraying himself right now, I think it brings a lot more eyes to him, just because people are like kind of waiting for the train wreck to happen, in a sense, because you know how people are, man. People love train wrecks, people love car crashes, people love to see people just kind of crash out. But it is what it is with this positive test. I'm kind of curious to see what as far as like what they're gonna do with the situation with the belt. Well, not even the belt, but like with Devin Haney's record, and if they're gonna reestablish him being undefeated again, and where it goes from Garcia as far as the suspension standpoint. They've been fights where he's been kind of clamoring for, as far as like we heard obviously with Errol Spence, he already signed his fights, but you heard clamorings about that. You heard clamorings maybe about a rematch with Devin Haney, but now Haney's not gonna. Doesn't seem like he's really up for it right now. So it's just a lot more questions needing to be answered with this whole situation with Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't know if the commission's going to suspend him, or what are they going to do with him. Usually, they suspend a fighter when they have positive testing for steroids or
Yeah.
performance enhancing drugs. So, I don't know if he gets suspended. And how long that suspension is going to be. But yeah, like you said, it'd be interesting to see what's next for Ryan Garcia, because I don't know, it's not looking good right now.
Nah, but he is he's probably one of the more popular fighters as far as like getting eyes on that pay-per-view screen. So if he is going to get suspended, I don't think it'll be anything crazy. I don't see him getting like a 2-year suspension. I don't see him getting a year. I could see maybe like a 6-month suspension or something like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's play extension, no extension.
Yeah, let's do it. So I got some names, man. So we're gonna pretty much do it like in the sense of like we're gonna take in a matter of like the team that they're on, other players that are potentially getting extended, their cap space, all that. So I'll throw out some names, man. You tell me if you do it, if you're this team. Start off with Jalen Waddle. What do you think? Would you extend or not extend?
Um, hmm, I would probably not extend because of his injury history.
Okay. Okay.
I think I could replace him in the draft.
Yeah, obviously, there's been a lot of receivers pretty deep, kind of like in a running back position. So I agree. T. Higgins.
Because of their cap situation and who they got to pay. They got to pay Jamar Chase top dollars. No, I would not pay Tiggins. And you just drafted Burton, and the year before you drafted another receiver, so you was already preparing for life after T. Higgins. So no, I would not extend him.
Okay. Well, you kind of answered the next one, so I'll just say it, Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I'm paying Jamar Chase. He's my number one guy. Him and Burrows, they've been locked and steady since LSU. So why would I break that up?
Yeah. All right. Next one, cornerback for the Falcons, AJ Terrell.
Yes, because they need all the defense they can get. And he's actually but he's actually a really good young corner too.
Yeah.
So he's pretty good in man coverage. Yeah, I would resign him. I don't think you have to break the bank for AJ Terrell either. I
You
think
think
you can give him.
you think that's still one of the hardest positions to find as far as like a really good cornerback?
A lockdown, shutdown corner. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
very hard.
Okay. Next one, we're gonna go with Brock Purdy.
Because I don't feel like you have to pay Brock Purdy top dollar, I would extend him. I don't think you have to break the bank for him.
For sure. Next one, Brandon Ayuk.
Yes, I would extend him.
Okay.
Because I think Debo's gone, and then with them extending Jawan Jennings, I think that's writing on the wall that Debo's gone.
Yeah, yeah, and then obviously they drafted Ricky
Ricky
Parsons,
Purcell, yeah.
Purcell, yeah, and yeah, so yeah, that's kind of leaning towards that.
Mhm.
Let's go. All right, so I will say this name, but we all know the answer: Justin Jefferson.
Of course.
Yeah,
But,
of course. All right, we're gonna get into the real question: Dak Prescott.
no, I would not resign Dak Prescott.
Okay, Michael Parsons.
Yeah, I would.
You was not Michael Parsons.
You can't that talent you can't really find all the time, and he could get after the quarterback, so that's always going to be a plus. No, he's not. I understand it sounds crazy. Why would you not play the quarterback, which is a more important position?
Mm.
But I think you might have to just see what you got in Trent or go on the draft.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. And then CD Lamb, last of the trio.
Yeah, I would resign CD. If I'm not
So
gonna pay Dak, I'll pay CD and Michael Parsons.
yeah, I feel like obviously you got to pay the two of the three. Can't let
Mm-hmm.
oh you can't let two of the three go. You got to at least keep at least two of them. And then last one we'll do Tua. Would you extend or not extend?
No extension for me.
No extension at all, huh?
Mm-mm.
You just go the route of just trying to find a new QB.
Mm-hmm.
Would you
Yeah,
think
he's
about
in.
trading him?
I would try to at first. I would try to get something for him because you're not getting the first round pick for two.
Would you get a
You'll
third,
probably get
second,
third
third?
over, maybe a second, but more likely you'll get a third.
So what team do you think should go after Tua? What team you think he would fit with?
Shoot. Hmm. Somebody like the Saints or
Yeah.
uh,
You know who I would say? I would say the Denver Broncos
I was
because
just about to say them.
because he fits kind of like that. To me, he reminds me like he's like a
Mm,
poor man. He's like a left man, poor man's Drew Brees in a sense. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like stylistically, they kind of look the same. He's just
yeah.
a left-handed version of him.
Mm,
No disrespect to Drew Brees, like Drew Brees has had a hell of a career. You know what I mean? So I'm not
that's a
saying Tua is Drew Brees, but
no.
talking about stylistically, I think Sean Payton will be able to do something with that. If you want to kind of get froggy, like maybe if the situation with the Cardinals ain't working out with Kyle Murray, maybe you try to try
Maybe
to get Kyle Murray to pair because I think Kyle Murray, you put Kyle Murray in that Miami Dolphins offense, I think that's a very explosive offense right there with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, the running back situation they got over there with Mike McDaniel. I think they could get pretty crazy, and then obviously Kyle Murray has a big arm, so that wouldn't be a
mm,
problem.
yeah, 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 but yeah. I'm not extending to it.
Or Joel, hey Joel, you can go to your Giants, brother. You can go to your Giants, man.
Hell no. Well, he's no, no. I take him over Daniel Jones. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, man. You would have to, bro, for real. And that was
all
it.
right, for sure. All right, let's do our better surefire picks, man. You go first.
So for tomorrow, I got the Timberwolves -4.5. I think they're gonna win tomorrow. I think it's gonna go to game 6, and then I think that's when it'll kind of end right there. I'm gonna take the Storm -4 over Caitlin Clark and then Indiana Fever. And then I'm gonna take the Rangers money line. I think they're gonna go up 3-2 in that series and go back to Florida. So those are my picks.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll same thing as you. I'm gonna take the Timberwolves -4.5. Also, um, as far as baseball goes, I'm
Royals
going.
are on the run, huh? They still winning, huh?
Well, they had a little skid, but they got back on track today.
Mm.
Um, but I'm gonna go ahead. As a matter of fact, I am gonna take the Royals tomorrow. And then in boxing, I'm gonna go ahead and take. Hold on, where is it at? Pull it in. 'Cause they have him as the underdog. I'm taking Deontay Wilder with a knockout.
Mm. Okay, okay.
I think
I almost forgot
he's
about that fight.
like plus money. So I'm gonna take Deontay Wilder with the knockout.
Okay, I'm with it.
So that is our surefire bets.
Yeah, shout out to Bet Us, man.
Yeah. Go to our Twitter or YouTube page, YouTube channel, and the link to the BetUs app is there with our direct link. Click on it, sign up. It's first time betters only. Sign up, put in a minimum of $100 in there. Type in the promo code, join 125. You get 125% off all your bets. You get you get 125% signing bonus towards your first three bets, and you get 10% gambling insurance in the app. So go
Yeah,
ahead and go win you some money.
for sure.
All right. right, man. Mr. Drizzy Drake has had an eventful time. Somebody in OVO really hates all this reference tracks. Just keep on getting nobody. Nobody else has a reference track. You ain't never heard a Kanye reference track. You ain't heard none of that. But you hear all the Drake's reference track. This is like his fourth reference track. Mob Ties. You heard DJ Academic say on Joe Budden podcast that he found out this was a reference track that he feels some type of way. There
Yeah,
are still people out here that are defending him, saying, "Well, until I hear a 5 a.m.
timestamp,
5 a.m. in Toronto
Calabasas
type
or
track,
something.
something like that, or Lord Mercy, Lord Have Mercy, one of them tracks. You know what I'm saying? One of them.
Mhm.
He's spitting them bars. Then they're fine. Which I get it. When it comes to the R&B stuff, I don't really kill them for the R&B stuff. All R&B, some of your greatest R&B acts have got stuff written for them. Tank is a mainstay on a lot of songs that y'all love that some of your greatest artists have sung. So I'm not even gonna go there as far as his R&B. But as a hip hop artist, we have the unwritten rule that if you're gonna declare yourself, it'd be one thing if Drake was just the certified lover boy, the Keith Sweat of hip hop, and just rapped about females. But he don't just rap about that. He rap that MC talk. I'm the best.
Mhm.
Merc all you on the track, da 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 da, type rap. So
Mhm.
when you put those type of bars out there, you declare yourself the best, and then we see here reference tracks. People are gonna feel some type of thing, gonna look at you sideways. Do I feel like the casual fan gives a fuck about this? No, I do not. I don't think they care at all. Because at the end of the day, the casual fan can care less about, you know, if he wrote it, if the bars and all that stuff. They don't care about that. They just, if it sounds good to them, if it make me feel good with a drink in my hand, I'm good. That's all they care about. But to the people who are purists and are into the music, they might feel some type of way. So, what are your feelings on this whole situation?
I low key think it's kind of funny that everything just keeps getting leaked out. You had Mob Ties, and I think it was a Ratchet Happy Birthday. I think it was a Party Next Door reference track that leaked as well. Um, I'll just say this, man. I agree with you. I think majority of Drake fans right now, I think they're more pop fans in the sense. I don't think they're gonna really care. Um, but at the same time, it just kind of makes you think what else is out there. You know what I mean? It kind of opens up that Pandora's box of what else did reference tracks did he get? Because it's not like with a lot of these reference tracks where it's just like, all right, like they he kind of like steals a little bit in there. It'll be like literally like whole verses, you know what I mean? That literally sounds identical. He might change a word here or two. So it just makes you kind of think like what else is out there? Is there a timestamp reference track? You know what I mean? Is it one of those like like a Duppy freestyle type of situations? Where a lot of people hold in high regard and think it's like one of his better diss tracks, and he ended up getting a reference off of that. I agree with you on the R&B stuff. Like a lot of R&B artists get songs written for them and all that, so I'm not really gonna hold my head up, in disappointment in a sense of if it's like, I hear a reference track for like Come Through, which is like one of my favorite Drake songs of all time. So I said it just kind of just opens up that Pandora's box with Drake and whatever else is out there, and it just kind of you know, it just kind of reaffirms what Kendrick was saying when they were kind of going back and forth with their rap beefs and all that. And then at the same time, it's just like we really haven't gotten, those kind of Drake, kind of tracks in a while. You know what I mean? For all the dogs, when I first listened to For All the Dogs, it wasn't really I really wasn't too fond of it at first. The more I listened to it, I ended up growing into it, and I like some of the songs. But for the most part, man, we really haven't got one of those like real, Drake hits in like a long time. You know what I mean? You haven't gotten a controller. I say you haven't gotten to come through. You haven't got anything from like Take Care, like Crew Love or anything like that. So it just kind of makes you think like maybe he isn't getting the kind of same. Maybe he doesn't have the same stable of riders like he used to. You know what I mean? Maybe he's burned so many bridges where it's kind of hard for him to find that hit, to find that what I mean, where Drake was really good at. So, I just think it brings a lot more questions. I said like with Drake, his career's kind of solidified. I just think in the sense of him being a top MC, with up there with the likes of like a Jay-Z, a Kendrick Lamar now, Nas and Outkast and all that. I think it puts a little bit of dampen on his resume with more of these reference track leaks popping out.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to fix something.
Yo, camera messed up.
No,
Uh-oh, got the echo. Technical difficulties. You know what I'm saying? I'm back on the show, so you know how that goes.
all right, let's go. I was trying to switch computers. Well, this one kind of tripping, but we can go for it. All right, man. Should the NBA change their playoff format?
Uh, Look, for a while now, I feel like the East has just been kind of like weak in the sense of like, obviously we had the situation with obviously with the Bucks with Giannis, and we had the Kyrie James Harden situation with the Nets. But for the most part, the East has really not been that deep, and this has been going on for years now, for a long time. I feel like the West has been always been the deeper conference, has always been stacked with talent. Especially back in the days, with the Kobe days, you had the Scottie Pippen teams, you had the Steve Nash teams, Dirk Nowitzki's, all that. So, there was kind of like a topic where maybe they should go 1 through 16. Doesn't matter what side of the division you're on, just pretty much just goes, based on record. And honestly, I really wouldn't mind that. I think it would bring kind of like a different feel to the NBA playoffs. I get people are, want to keep everything traditional. People want to keep, the East and West and all that. But we see it here with the Celtics. Obviously, this is, injuries kind of played a big role with the Celtics run going into this side of the playoffs, where it seems like they just pretty much had bye weeks for the last 2 months heading into the NBA Finals. So I just think if this continuously happens on the east side, I think they should look into it a little bit more. Adam Silver is always trying to transcend things on the NBA side and try new things out. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a topic. Not saying it's going to happen, but I think it'll be something that the NBA looks into. I said they're trying new things all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually change the format, but I don't have a problem with the format right now. I mean, people still watching it, and I mean, the West has always been the stronger conference. All
Mm-hmm.
since I've known. I mean, other than because even in the Jordan days, like
Yeah, it was a little tougher in the Jordan days.
yeah, it was the East because you had the
In the East,
Pacers, you had the Knicks, you had
yeah,
the
the
Heat,
Celtics,
Celtics.
Pistons.
Yeah, you had a few more teams back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
but after Jordan, it kind of went more towards West, especially when Kobe and Shaq got together, and you know the Tim Duncan Spurs, and even before then, it was the Admiral and them, and
Mm-hmm.
you know the Houston
Son.
Rockets. You know what I'm saying, when they were winning championships. Portland Trailblazers was a formative opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Utah Jazz, like the West is always kind of after probably like the mid to late '90s, early 2000s, it's kind of been a more dominant conference. So it is what it is. I guess you could just say the West Conference just know how to draft a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
players. It is what it is. But I mean, they change it, but I don't think I can go either or. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I ain't tripping either way. You know.
yeah, because I get it. I said I wouldn't be surprised if it goes if they stay it this way or go in another situation. But you can get the likes of having a first round matchup where it could be like the Knicks versus the Sacramento Kings or Lakers versus Celtics first round. You start seeing a lot more of those kind of matchups. But I know a lot of people in sports like to keep things traditional. So, um, but we'll see.
Okay. All right, man. Let's talk about Shiloh Sanders, son of Deion Sanders,
Mhm.
safety for the Colorado Buffaloes. Um, what are he supposedly he's filing for bankruptcy? Said he's in $11 million in debt. A lot of people are raising questions of where's his money going? What is this? What is going on with him?
Mhm.
I know he some about a court hearing that he didn't show up to in March of 2022, and it's a big mess. What are your thoughts on this situation, man?
It looks funny. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, this stems from I guess a situation that happened back in high school where he ended up beating up. I think it was a security guard or something like that, and he ended up being seriously hurt. I think he did a civil case against this Shiloh, and I think he ended up winning. I think he was awarded, I think like $10 million or something like that, something crazy. I was like, damn, how bad did you whoop his ass if he got awarded for $10 million? So, but obviously, with the situation he has with Colorado, with all the NIL money and stuff like that, just kind of the way they've been flossing, people, kind of raising the eyebrow of, why are you filing for bankruptcy? It kind of just makes it a situation where I feel like he's just trying to get out of it. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how that works. You know what I mean? In a situation like, if he was, if the plaintiff that filed this civil law case against Shiloh ended up winning and he files for bankruptcy, like I don't know how that whole situation works. But if it's kind of like that situation, I think it's pretty fucked up. The Sanders family, I think he's pretty well off. I'm sure Dion ain't willing to pay that that $10 million. He gonna be like, son, you got yourself into this shit. You gonna have to figure it out.
Mhm.
So I don't know where Shiloh is projected to go in the draft if he were to come out. Hey, can he come out next year? He has to wait another
Yeah.
year. I don't know
Well,
where he would be projected. I don't know. Obviously I don't think he'll be like a first round or second round pick, but maybe he might be like a later round, maybe like a fourth or fifth, depending on how he performs over this next year. So, um, you got to figure that out. But it looks kind of a little sketchy right now. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it looks kind of crazy. I mean, I know a lot of rich people they do this when they get sued or something
Yeah.
like that. They'll file with Chapter 11 bankruptcy or something like that, and
Hmm.
Chapter 7 or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
and file for bankruptcy so they won't get the assets taken or something taken away from them or something. So maybe it's just one of those plays where his lawyer just said, "Hey, file for bankruptcy. We can find a loophole in here and da da da." So I don't know if it works, but we'll see. All right, man. Let's talk about Draymond Green on Shaq's podcast. He said a whole bunch of stuff, but what are one of some of the bigger highlights that stuck out to you in this interview?
So like obviously, he brought up the whole situation where he thought he pretty much said that he would be able to guard Shaq, and
Hmm.
stop him from scoring. We all know that's bullshit. We wouldn't be able he wouldn't be able to do that. Kind of the biggest one for me, that what he said, he kind of talked about the whole situation with the fine situation. Where obviously with the situation with Draymond, all the technical fouls he's been assessed, and a lot of money that he's lost. He kind of states that the NBA doesn't help players set themselves up to be financially successful in a sense because of all the fines. So, and he's kind of saying that that the NBA and how it's kind of organized right now doesn't really help them to be like help them be financially free to when they retire. Even though this man gets paid almost $200 million a year, still doesn't think they're going to be successful just be based on the fines. Like, what were your thoughts when you heard that, when he kind of said that?
Said it again. He said what?
Just pretty much that the NBA doesn't really help them be successful with all the fines, and
Oh
that
yeah,
they
that
can't be
that
financially
was a
free.
bunch of BS. Like, come on, man, you guys are getting ironclad contracts, guaranteed contracts, 200 million, 300 million, $150 million contracts. I don't want to hear none of that. If you struggling, then that's on you, brother.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you get one great contract from the NBA, you should be set. You know what I'm saying, for
Hmm.
life. If
Hmm.
you take care of your money right, there should be no reason why you should be broke unless you got some bad habits and vices. And look, I know people got their issues or whatever, gambling, alcohol, whatever, but still, there should be no reason why you should be broke in today's NBA
Nah,
at
it's,
all.
it's it's a slap in the face too, just to the consumers that of your fucking
Mhm.
product. Like especially in the times that we're living in with inflation, people losing jobs now, and it's just hard. It's just hard to maintain the living. But you over here getting paid almost $40 million a year, and you sitting here bitching about a fine of five to anywhere 5 to 100 grand because it's your fault. The reason why you getting these fines because you can't stop doing stupid, idiotic shit. It's just another situation where Draymond Green just kind of needs to shut the fuck up, respectfully, because
Mhm.
he just I don't know what it is where I don't know if he just wants to create a moment anytime he's on a podcast or anytime he's in front of a television screen where he's in his podcasting or broadcasting mode. But some of the shit that he be saying just kind of like makes me just kind of annoyed. I know from some sources that he's a good dude off the court, but when people see situations like this, it just seems like he's out of touch with the pulse of what's going on in the world today. And if you sitting here crying, based on you getting fined because you don't know how to not punch people, you don't know how to not flail your arms and kick people in the nuts and all that type of stuff. That's a you problem, my brother. That's not a
Mhm.
league problem. That's a you problem. The league has implemented a system that has been going on since the league has been established, and if you can't abide by those rules, you're gonna get punished and you're gonna get fined. It's just the way it is. You are still financially free. I'm sure Draymond's not done with his money. That's not including all the ample opportunities that the league has provided for you to be successful. You have a successful podcast based off you being in the NBA. You pretty sure you have other ventures that help you make money outside of the NBA, help because due to you playing basketball. So I don't know, man. That it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way with him saying that. It just makes you, if you don't like Draymond, it just makes you not like him even more. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's on you, Draymond. You don't want to keep giving them free money because you want to be a WWE superstar. So
nah, for real.
chill, bro. Hopefully you don't come. Never mind. Let me shut up. All right, man. We usually don't talk baseball on here, but let's talk it, man.
Yeah.
It's a big day in baseball, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Negro League stats are going to be integrated with the MLB stats starting. It was starting today.
Yeah.
So all the stats, they took 2,300 players from the Negro League stats and they integrated them into history of the NBL. So there are NBL stats. They're no longer just Negro League stats. They are integrated. And Josh Gibson, Negro League great, he has all the records now. Like, this dude was hitting 70 home runs, 68 home runs one year. I think another 70 some year. 100. This dude was hitting a lot of home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And his batting average was one of the, it was up there. His batting average is like 372, which surpasses Ty Cobb's 367.
Yeah.
His slugging percentage was .718, which overtakes Babe Ruth's .690.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you have people, of course, Satchel Paige, who people deem as one of the greatest pitchers to ever pitch in baseball. And then you had Cool Papa Bell, who Hall of Famers say that he might have been the fastest man to ever play baseball. So
Yeah.
I think this was great, because I think that we got to understand that these guys were not allowed. to be in the ML, in the Major League Baseball at the time because of the color of their skin.
Hmm.
And these guys were playing, these were great players. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, and like I said, I just think this was a beautiful thing. Shout out to the MLB for getting this right and adding a part of history. And if you've never been to the Negro League museum, you should go one time. It's in Kansas City. I've been there. It's a lot of information that you can learn when you go there, man. It's a lot of good stuff, a lot of cool stuff you'll see too. Jerseys, gloves, just all kinds of history up in there, man. So if you ever get a chance, go to the Negro League Baseball Museum. But what was your thoughts on this?
Long overdue. Long overdue. Like, yeah, we can give a pat on the back to the Major League Baseball for finally acknowledging what always needs to be acknowledged. Uh, so I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna be here and kind of be half glass empty where I'm gonna shit on the MLB for taking so long.
Yeah.
Um, we get this used to be the good old boys sport back in
Hmm.
the day.
Hmm.
We get this used to be America's pastime. Um, but the importance of the Negro League can't be understated.
Nope.
Um, this to me, this is one of the more important moments in sports history right here
Hmm.
this day. For them adding the Negro League stats into Major League Baseball. Now we just get to see all these great players that played in this wonderful league, back in the days before I was even born,
Right.
um, finally get acknowledged. You know what I mean? Cool Papa Bells, Satchel Paige, all those guys, man. You can go on and on with all the great talent that came from those Negro leagues. Um, it's an important moment in African American history that needs to be said. So much history, so much tradition. Um, I'm happy these gentlemen are finally getting acknowledged, even though a lot of them aren't here today.
Yeah.
Hopefully, their families can be proud of this day, this moment. I'm very happy. This put a really big smile on my face. I thought Nick Wright said it very poetically on his show. I think it was today that he kind of talked about it. Nick Wright can, he can give me a headache a lot of times, but my man is can say some really really good things, man. It was beautiful. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you looking on YouTube. He just said it perfectly to me. So congratulations to all these gentlemen. I've never
Hmm.
been to the Negro League a museum. That's one of the things I do need to check off my bucket list. Maybe one of these days when we go to our Raider Chief game out in Kansas
Hmm.
City, we'll definitely have to do that.
Right.
But again, shout out to all these gentlemen who played a big part into creating a baseball culture that will never be forgotten.
Hmm.
Congratulations to their families. Well deserved. And thank you to the MLB for finally making this happen, because this was something that was very important and much needed for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, man. Let's go to boxing, man. Errol Spence Jr. is returning, man.
Yeah.
He's coming back in October
Hmm.
against Steven Fedora,
Yeah.
who just got through beating Tim Zoo in a bloody fight.
Hmm.
Tim Zoo looked like he was on his way to win that fight, but then caught an elbow to the head, an unintentional elbow to the head by
Yeah.
my ad, and it changed the trajectory of that fight. Shout out to Fedor, he ended up pulling it out because he was a stand-in because Keith Thurman had got hurt, and he stepped in and he ended up getting the belt.
Yeah.
So now here we go, Errol Spence. He inserts himself in. If we watch that fight, he did come into the ring after the fight and said he wanted to fight Stephen Fedor. So he's getting his wish. He will be fighting at 154. Um, this is an interesting fight to me. This is going to be interesting from so many levels because we'll get to see how Errol Spence looks after a year after he caught the beat down loss from Terrence Crawford. Just
Hmm.
call it for what it is. It's a lot of controversy with Errol Spence right now with him and Derrick James. I wonder if he could put all that noise to the side. Hopefully by that time, all that stuff will get resolved. It's going to be interesting if he's who he's gonna work with as far as his trainer. If if him and Derek James are beefing right now over money. Um, but I'm interested to see how he looks, man. Hopefully he can return. I know he said something. This might be my last time fighting, so we'll see. Maybe he gives you a one off and then rides off in the sunset. But we'll see.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when you heard this announced?
No, I was finally I was excited to finally hear it. We were all kind of anticipating the future of what Errol Spence could fight, whether he would fight at all. You know what I mean? He took this long absence. Well, much needed, after what we saw against Terrence Crawford. I said this matchup is really interesting. Obviously, we've seen the size of Fedora. He's a very tall, lanky human being. So obviously, if he was fighting Errol Spence a couple years ago, we would all say Errol Spence should win this fight easily. But I'm very curious to see the mindset coming from Errol after that Terrence Crawford fight. I'm curious to see how his body handles being punched again. This is a long layoff, so how long does it take for him to find his rhythm? How often has he been in the gym recently? You know what I mean? Obviously he's gonna start ramping up his workouts here and his training. Again, you brought it up. What's up with the Derek James situation? Is he gonna train you? Who's you gonna be your trainer? Who's gonna be involved in your camp to help you get prepared for this fight? So. And then obviously, they're kind of setting up the rematch with Terrence Crawford. They already came out and kind of said that, this will kind of lead up to that depending on the results. It's a very interesting time for Errol Spence and his career. It could go one or two ways. If he loses this fight, I wouldn't be surprised if you would start hearing about retirement, man. His body has been through a lot with those two horrific crashes. Thank God he was able to survive those. He came off that brutal beating from Terrence Crawford. And if he were to lose this, who knows? Who knows what happened with Errol Spence after this? Got to see the confidence, in his body, and we'll go from there. But I am excited and very intrigued. As I said, this is probably the one fighter I've been probably the most intrigued in to see, just to see how he responds. You know what I mean? I'm more intrigued to watch this fight than I am the Terrence Crawford fight, even though Terrence Crawford is that's my guy. He's my favorite fighter in boxing right now. So it's just the story behind Errol Spence that I think it's the most intriguing thing just to see.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's gonna be interesting to see how he looks, man. I hope he looks like Errol Spence.
Yeah,
I hope he can bounce back and
I'm rooting for him.
yeah, see if how he looks at 154. With
Mhm.
that power, come with him. And like you said, will he be able to erase the lingering effects of being knocked down and being beat like he
Yeah.
was beat from Terrence Crawford? So we shall see, man. Like I said, I wish Errol Spence all the best, man.
When's that fight? When's that fight supposed to be?
They just said sometime in October. I forgot the date.
October. It's in Dallas though, right? Because
Yeah.
I know they're trying to put it at a Cowboy Stadium, but I think they're just trying to figure out whether the Cowboys are going to be playing there or not.
Hold on, let me look it up real quick.
I'm curious to see who's going to be on the undercard for that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Where are you at? They don't really say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have a date yet. I just think they said October.
So what's your early kind of percentages on him winning the fight? You give him like a 60% chance, 70% chance, 50% chance? What do you think?
Um, I give him a 60%
Okay.
chance of winning the fight. Only because, like you said, he's had a long layoff, and we've seen Errol Spence have long layoffs after his car accident, and he came back and he looked fine. But this is a little bit different because you've been, this isn't you, and look, thank God that you survived that car accident because that could have messed up anybody. Um, but when you lose a fight to the magnitude that he lost to Terrence Crawford, like I said, this wasn't no hard fought, drug out fight, and maybe in the 11th, 12th round, Terrence Crawford just got the best of you.
Mm-hmm.
This was from possibly from the second round to the seventh round, you got your ass whooped.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for somebody who's never, we've never seen Errol Spence like that. We've seen him sometimes in like you guys, he got hurt in that fight. And it was like he was a little bit of trouble. Even the Sean Porter fight, that was a hard fought, drug out, and then he caught the knockdown in like the
Hmm.
11th or 12th round.
Hmm.
We I've seen him, had to, fight through a little bit of adversity in certain fights, but we've never seen Errol Spence in that situation where he just looked like he didn't belong in the ring with Terrence Crawford at all. So
Yeah.
we'll see how he looks at 154. A bigger weight class. He won't be as weight drained as some people say at 147. That he won't have that excuse no more. And you're fighting somebody who's taller than you,
Yeah.
essentially. Like, we'll see how that looks. Because Stephen Fedor, he's a matchup nightmare, man. Because
Yeah.
he's 6'3", 6'4",
Hmm.
but he fights at 154. Man, he reminds me of old boxer named Paul Williams, who used to be like 6'3", or 6'1", or something like that, and he fought at like 154, like something like that. So
Hmm.
he's just a matchup nightmare, man. And you just got them long arms, and the uppercuts just come out, and it can hurt you. So this will be an interesting fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he
Yeah.
can go out there and you know, I anticipate him doing what he always does, chopping that tree down, going to the body early, and trying to get that knockout in like probably the middle rounds or whatever. If he could if he could be that Errol Spence, then like I said, I give him between a 60-65% chance of winning.
For sure. For sure. We shall see.
All right, man. Let's talk about the NCAA Power Five settlement.
Hmm.
So let's see. Where's I just had So the NCAA and Power Five conferences reached a historic agreement Thursday allowing schools to pay players directly. The decision is the part of a multi-billion-dollar settlement to resolve three federal antitrust trust cases that challenged the NCAA's long-standing amateurism model and accused the NCAA of illegally preventing student athletes from profiting off their names. Under its board of government terms of agreement, the NCAA will pay over 2.7 billion in damages over the next decade to pre-NIL student athlete dating back to 2016 and current student athletes. The NCAA is in its conferences also agreed to revenue sharing plan allowing each school to share upwards of 20 million per year with its student athletes. That's a lot of money.
Hmm.
So, what's your thoughts on this settlement, man?
Just another situation where it's long overdue. You know what I mean? They finally just it was something that was undeniable at this point, especially with the NIL and all that. It they just finally just gave up. NCAA finally gave up. You know what I mean? So, um, hey, I think this is one of the better times to be a student athlete. You know what I mean? If you have a kid that's gearing up for that, hey, this might be the best time for it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Wild Wild West right now with the NILs. I'm sure they'll probably put some kind of regulations towards that. Um, I wouldn't even be surprised if they kind of have like a cap situation with these college programs and how much they can spend. Not so much with the obviously with the scholarships, but just money wise, you know what I mean. They got to figure out a situation because there are some colleges that have some high end boosters that can just shell out millions and millions of dollars, for these football programs. So you don't want to be too lopsided in the sense where kind of unlevels the playing field on a competitive level. But shout out for them. These college students that are going to finally reap the benefits for all the hard work that they've done to help these colleges make money. And then from the past players to the future. So shouts out to them, man. I wish I wish I was involved in this settlement. I know that for sure.
Yeah, man. Like you said, man, it's about damn time, man. Get these kids paid the money that they deserve because NCAA have been robbing them for years. making money hand over fist. Y'all talk
Hmm.
about that. I always say, y'all talk about the NFL. Let's open up that Pandora box with the NCAA, especially in football.
Yeah.
Basketball too, but football, like they've been raking in the dough. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
everybody loves college football, man. The crowds that come out to them Alabama LSU games and USC games and rivalries are huge in college, way more in college football than it is the pros. Yeah, you got your rivalries in football and NFL, whatever, but they're not as big as the rivalries in
Nah.
college football.
That's what I low key be saying. I low key think the number one sport in America is college football. I don't think it's the NFL. I don't think so. I just think the college football is just a bigger brand. Like NFL is huge. Don't get me wrong. NFL is huge. Obviously they're more global in a sense than college football is. So obviously the numbers are going to be obviously higher in a sense, but um, college football is huge, man, in
It's
America.
huge.
To me, that is the number one sport to me, just with the traditions. A lot of people go to these colleges, they wear them colors with fucking pride. You know what I mean? So and they'll die by that breed. I'm a Gator fan. I ain't even go to college. I ain't even go to Florida, but that's my team. I'm rocking them. So uh, yeah, man, good times to be a student athlete. Good times.
For sure, man. All right, man. Let's talk about the diddler, aka P Diddy.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's a potential that he could be losing his star on the Walk of Fame. Do you think this is warranted?
No, no. How many fucking stars are you gonna get rid of then? You know what I mean? Hey, it is what it is at this point. Like the Walk of Fame to me is no different from the Hall of Fame. That's like Major League Baseball. They should need to go ahead and put Pete Rose in, put Barry Sanders in, put all those cats, even with the sense of like steroids and shit like that. That's part of your history. Walk of Fame ain't no different to me for Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like sooner or later, it's just like, all right, you take away Diddy, then you have to take away a lot of these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So, um, at this point, you just got to live with it. You know what I mean? It's just, you see Diddy, you got to understand the history that comes with Diddy. You see a
Mhm.
Bill Cosby, you got to understand what comes with Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and that's not including some of the white counterparts that have had problems in with their history. So we can't sit here and pick and choose on who we need to eliminate from his, like, it's part of the history, so you just gotta live with it.
Yeah, I agree. Um, there'd be a whole bunch of stars that you would have to remove, man.
You
Like,
might not have a walk of fame after that. You
yeah,
might not
yeah,
have one. So
yeah. You would
yeah.
have to, and that goes for any Hall of Fame. You can dig deep into some of the NBA, NFL players who are Hall of Fames who have checkered past from domestic violence to other things going on in their lives, and they still in the Hall of Fame. So you would have to really, like, yeah, it would get real sticky real
I'm just
fast.
saying, sooner or later, I'm like, at the end of the day, I've never been part of the cancer culture thing. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you don't want to support that product or if you don't want to support that person, you have every right to do that. But it's like I said, if you really look at everything that we do in society, the companies that we buy products from, the sports that we watch, the movies that we watch, the music that we listen to, the clothes that we wear, there's a dirty history with a lot of these companies. Are you gonna let your kids stop watching the Disney Channel because of all that shit? Are you gonna let your kids stop watching Nickelodeon because of all those documentaries that came out and all that? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
we saw Super Size Me and what it did to my man. God rest his soul. He passed away. Everybody remember that documentary? Saw him eat McDonald's for 30 days and saw how shitty his health went. You think that stopped people from going to McDonald's and knowing all the bullshit? No. So, and I get it. It's different. Eating McDonald's ain't the same as, what Diddy did to, Cassie. And, now you're hearing stuff of, him, doing some sexual things to some male prostitute or something like that. So obviously, more and more stories they're coming out with of Diddy and Dilla and all that. So, but shit like this, it's just like you just got to kind of live with it. You know what I mean? It's a ugly statement in history with everything going on, but it's part of the history, man. We can't erase shit from the history books. Like it just is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. I got a question for you. You got a
What's up?
cut one of these college football teams, man.
Okay.
Hold on, gotta gotta find my stuff. Your 2008 Florida Gators with Tim Tebow and all those brothers.
Mm-hmm.
The Joe Burrow led LSU team. The 2004 USC Trojan team.
Mm.
Or or the 2001 Miami Hurricane team.
Mm. Yo, that's tough, man. My bias, I'm if I obviously I'm not cutting my Gators, man. I can't do that. Man, that Miami team was flawless, flawless. They were nice. So was that Trojans team. I get they lost to the Texas Longhorns, but that team was one of the funnest teams to watch. Um, and that LSU team, man, offensively, man, they were disgusting with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and all them. Oh man, this is a tough one. Oh, man. I'm gonna go with the LSU team. I'm gonna cut that LSU team. Yeah, I'm gonna cut the LSU team because I can't cut the USC team with Reggie Bush. Man, Reggie Bush was probably one of the best football players of all time. That Miami team was probably one of the deepest college football teams of all time. They stacked up all across the board. And my ultra bias, man, Gators. I'm not getting rid of my Gators. And on top of that, that Gator team was nasty, bro. Like
It
with
was.
Urban Meyer and all them, you know what I mean? That like Urban Meyer kind of
Percy
like
Harvey, Lewis
Percy
Worthy.
Harvin, Aaron Hernandez, I get it, all that, you know what I mean? But but and then our defense, with Brandon Spikes and all them, man, and we had the Pounce. I think both Pouncey brothers played on the
Mm-hmm.
team, but
Pouncey
um,
brothers.
you know what I mean? So I'm just like, I'm not getting rid of my Gators, bro. I know we had a lot of characters on our team, but we were fired, and it hurts my soul, bro, because that Joe Burrow team was nasty. That Joe Burrow team was one of the best, probably, but I just can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm not getting rid of that LSU team.
So what team you getting rid of?
I'm thinking.
I already have a feeling who you're probably gonna say.
I'm not getting rid of the Florida team either.
No, that's who I wasn't talking about. I feel like you're gonna probably say USC Trojans.
Because Reggie Bush and Lindell White was special, man.
So you're getting rid of that. You were getting rid of that Miami Hurricane team? Ain't no way. You better not step foot in Miami if they hear this shit. 305 boys gonna get on you, boy. That's the real shit. You really better walk around like Daft Punk, man, if you gonna say that.
Because they had Willis McGahee,
Ed Reed,
Frank Gore. I think Clinton Portis was there too.
Clinton Portis was on that team.
You
had
was that the Santana Moss team?
Santana Moss, I think. Santana Moss. What's my man?
Ken
Shockey.
Dorsey
You had Jeremy Shockey on that team.
Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey was the quarterback. Yeah, you had Jeremy Shockey, the tight end, was on that team. I think was it Patrick Willis was on that team? Was it Patrick Willis on that team? There was a linebacker on that team that was nasty.
I don't know if he was.
Might have been Patrick Willis.
Then you had, I think it was Jonathan Vilma.
Yeah.
Then your squad, like you said, Tim Tebow, Louis Murphy, Andy Hernandez, Brandon Spikes,
Pouncey brothers,
Joe Hayden,
mm-hmm.
USC, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lindell White,
Troy
Polamalu, Clay Matthews, right?
Clay Matthews is on that team.
And your boy that was juicing up, Brian Cushion.
Yep, Brian Cushion. Yep.
Oh, man.
Let's say this: if the Final Four were those teams, who's winning those games?
Y'all gonna hate me. I think I got LSU.
You think LSU's beating all four of those teams?
I
or
who
all
gonna,
three, the other three.
who gonna guard those receivers, man? Joe Hayden can't guard all of them.
Yeah, but the LSU defense wasn't that great. The LSU defense wasn't that great. They were getting chewed up all year.
Were they?
They weren't
Who was
that
on that?
great.
Who was on that defense?
I don't know. I don't remember.
There were some guys on that
There were
defense.
some guys, but I could have swore I seen, playing times and getting scored 20, 28, 30 points on that team. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Look, I get they were special. Joe Burrow and them were special, bro. But the totality of the team, I just think total. I think Florida's team was probably deeper on both sides of the ball than LSU's. I definitely think Miami's team was deeper on both sides of the ball, and I think the closest one might be USC because like they didn't really have receivers on that squad. Who was their receivers?
When it Dwayne Jarrett.
Yeah, I might switch. I might say USC. It's hard for me to get rid of Reggie Bush though.
I hear you,
It
but
might be that USC team.
because and I'm gonna make a case for the U.S. Why it's probably the USC team because a single fucking quarterback whooped their ass. Imagine what LSU would do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And
But I
all
think it
you,
was so much. I think, but LSU, Joe Burrow ain't running like that. Like I think what killed him was just Vince Young running the ball all
yeah,
over him.
but
I
I'm
think
just
that was their
saying.
main issue.
I just think that they would spread them out so much on that defensive side. Like
But you got Troy Polamalu in that backfield though. It's not
he
like they don't
does.
have safety help. They're gonna have safety help, and Troy Polamalu was like one of the best. I
Yeah,
don't know who the
yeah.
other corners were, but
And then you got to think what rules are we playing?
that's true. Like I don't
Because
see.
a Troy Polamalu couldn't survive in this day and age. He would get
Well, neither
ejected.
could the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes definitely couldn't survive it, and neither
Niggas
could my
getting ejected.
Gators. If we're going based on that, LSU will be the clear cut winners if you can't do
Niggas
that
was
shit.
getting ejected
But
left and
that's what I'm
right.
saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
if we're doing like basically like they're like the time where USC, Florida, and what's that team? I forgot. The USC, Florida, and Miami. Those teams, if we're playing in their time, I don't think LSU is winning that. I don't think
Yeah.
they're winning that.
I hear you.
I just think on the inside, I think they could be dominated. I think on the defensive side, I think like they can slow them down. I'm not saying they can stop them, but I can't see that LSU defense stopping what Tim Tebow did. I get his throw mechanics was bad, but he was killing in college. I can't see them stopping Reggie Bush, and I for damn sure can't see them stopping Miami's team.
If I'm Florida and I'm facing LSU, let's just say just a straight up football, none of the ejection rules and all that shit. I'm putting Joe Hayden on on Justin Jefferson,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm getting physical with him because he doesn't like that. You could, even though he is the best receiver in the league, you can take him out of his game when you get physical with
Young
him.
Joe Hayden was nice. Joe Hayden was nice.
That's what I'm saying. If you ruffle his feathers at the line of scrimmage, because I've seen it happen. Jair Alexander did it the last year. L'Jarius Sneed was doing it. Like you can get him out of his game to where he don't like hands getting put on him.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, you got to be good enough to get your hands on him.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. Not all corners can do that, but Joe Hayden in his prime could have did that.
Yeah, I'm sticking with LSU. I would cut LSU. I would.
Yeah.
I'll cut LSU. No, I don't mean that no disrespect, but I think I would stick with that team.
You might have got me to come around. You're right. LSU.
Good question though. Good question. Well, we'll figure out. I wonder if they're gonna have historic teams on the new college football.
I don't know.
Be interesting.
I have no clue, sir. All right, man. Last but not least, let's get Malls. UFC 302 preview and predictions.
Yeah, man. I think this fight, this card is pretty amazing. Obviously, the main event is Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. Huge fight. I think this is a huge fight for Dustin Poirier. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Islam, I think he's a Hall of Famer too. But this can really bump up Dustin Poirier if he's able to pull off this upset. It'll be a huge upset. I'm riding with my boy Dustin Poirier. I don't know how he's gonna do it, but he gonna come out on top. I'm gonna go with him. Then obviously you got the Paulo Acosta versus Sean Strickland fight. That should be a definitely interesting fight, but I think Paulo Costa is gonna win. Um, huge card. Obviously this is the card before the Conor McGregor one. I think that's the one that's more anticipated, just with the return of Conor McGregor. But I do believe this card is better than that card, so I think it'll be way more exciting. It's styles of fights, man. Islam is a tough dude, man. He's gonna take you down to the ground. Uh, you know, Habib is supposed to be in his corner. He trains with him a lot, so this is one of the toughest tasks Dustin Poirier has had in his career. But I'm a root for him. I think Dustin Poirier has been on a pretty good hot streak right now. He looked amazing in his last fight, so I'm a root for him. You know, soft spot in my heart, man, for Dustin Poirier, man. I'm a big fan of his.
Any other fights?
What else we got? Those are the two main ones. Then obviously you got Kevin Holland. I can't even pronounce my man's name. Mikhail Oleg Zuk. I'm sorry, brother, but that should be an interesting fight. Kevin Holland. I think he'll win that one. Then you got Nico Price versus Alex Morano. That should be an interesting fight for welterweight. And then I think the opening match for the pay-per-view is Randy Brown versus Dos Santos. Great style fights, man. So it should be a great card, man. Big UFC fan. So if you're a UFC fan, man, I suggest you watch it.
All right, for sure. Where is it at? I'm trying to pull up this fight card for this weekend because I want to get your prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Just do open combo on this one. Because we got the 5-on-5 thing that they're doing on this weekend with Deontay Wilder versus Zio Zhang. It's Queensberry, which is Frank. What's his name? Frank White versus Matchbook, which we all know is Eddie Hearns. I'm trying to find the damn card. I want to find the undercard.
Is that a pay-per-view?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be on the zone. Like all those fights are. Come on, where you at? Okay, so you got Flip. I don't know how to say his name versus Daniel Tobias. I don't even know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Hasma Cherise against Austin Williams. Raymond Ford. Now Raymond Ford is I know who that is against Nick Ball for Ford's WA featherweight title, and then Willie Hutchison taking on Craig Richards in the light heavyweight ranks, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But just get your viewpoint on the Deontay Wilder and Zhang fight.
It's definitely gonna be interesting to me. Wilder hasn't really looked good in his last 2-3 fights. You know, I think I saw something where he kind of came out and said if he loses this fight, he could potentially retire. But I'm sure money will talk in that situation. But hey, man, I think Wilder. I root for Wilder. I've always, you know, the one thing that irritates me so much with him is just that he really hasn't developed any kind of boxing skills for me, and then that his lower body just fucking irks the hell out of me. Like, he doesn't look like my man does one squat at all. But I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be tough for him to win this fight with Zhang, man. I'm a root for Wilder, but I think it's gonna be tough. I really don't want to see my man go out like he did in his last fight, because you know I've just been a really big fan of his. But No, we'll see, man. I'm hoping he can pull it out. I would love for him to continue boxing. I think he's a big thing for the heavyweight division. I would still love to see him get his chance against, maybe a Joshua fight. I would still love to see that opportunity for him. Um, you know, maybe even do it. I get Jared Anderson has been kind of having his little downfalls, but I wouldn't mind seeing that fight either. I think that could be an exciting fight. Even with so I don't know. We'll see, man. I'm gonna hold out hope for him.
I'm always gonna say Wilder has a puncher's chance in any
Hmm.
fight that he fights in. My thing with Wilder, and because I felt like his last fight when he fought Parker, I just felt like I don't know if his heart was into it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear Wilder before he has a fight, whoever he fights, he always talking about he want to kill the other guy.
Yeah.
He always want to talk about he want to destroy the dude. And it just seems like after the Fury fight, I don't know if that fire just went out of him because he's the type of fire he needs that. You
Hmm.
if you get that type of Wilder, I don't care how much you outbox him, he can catch you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if he goes in there and he just looked like, and you could just tell when he fought Parker, it just seemed like his heart, his soul wasn't into it. He was barely throwing any punch. When have we ever known Wilder never throw his hands? Regardless of how you feel, like he's throwing them hands, he's gonna throw at least some haymakers and try to get you up out of there.
No
You know what
doubt.
I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No doubt.
And
Yeah.
it just seemed like he just was not into it. I'm not giving no excuses. Parker boxed beautifully and he won that fair and square,
Mm.
and it is what it is. But it's just like he was just going through the motions, man. And if he goes through the motions in this one, he can get knocked the fuck out.
You
'Cause
think
I
he
ain't.
has love for? You think he still has love for the game?
I think the Fury shit fucked him up
Hmm.
because I think he really feels like and there was questions about Fury, possibly having some steroid issues and some controversial stuff with the gloves and all that stuff that happened, especially in that second fight. But I just think that mentally fucked him up
Hmm.
to where it just took him out the love of boxing out of him. Because, like I said, when we used to hear Fury talking in press conferences, he was like, "Man, I'm here to kill this."
Yeah.
Like I want to murder this dude.
Yeah.
He was almost on some Mike Tyson shit. Like I want
Hmm.
to kill this man. I want to eat his heart, type shit. So if Wilder ain't talking like that, then it's just kind of like, I don't know, man.
I haven't seen any of the press conferences with Wilder, so I'm not really sure. But I don't know, man. It's just tough. Like Zhang is not an easy fighter, man.
No, he's
Like
not.
stylistically, I think it's tough for Wilder. You know what I mean? And then if he comes in with that same kind of mindset where you said where he doesn't look like he's motivated, he's gonna get knocked out again. So, um, hey man, I really hope that he really has the motivation to continue being great. Hopefully, he's able to get some kind of jab game going on where he can, at least set up the haymaker punch, set up that right hook, because obviously he has the power to beat anybody, but
Yeah.
it's just his shit is just so fucking predictable for a lot of these fighters. You know what I mean? It's just really predictable. They know what to watch out for. But yeah, as I said, I'm always gonna root for Wilder. I'm always gonna be on his side, and even for this fight, I'm gonna be rooting for him. I want him to succeed, but I think it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, for sure. You got anything else you
Yeah,
want
yeah. I
to
want to read you something, and
go ahead?
then you know see what you think. Maybe you can give this man advice. So it reads: Today I gave up sex with my wife. This is my version of a story told many times before. I'm 27 male. I'm going to stop initiating sex with my wife. She's 25 because she never initiates. When we do have sex, it's only because I asked and there is nothing sexy about it. All of my sweet talk, subtle gestures, etc. get me nowhere. I absolutely understand that sex is not the be all end all. We are extremely compatible and she is my best friend. I have heard the phrase my partner feels more like a roommate, and that has helped me understand what I'm feeling. She has expressed before that sex doesn't hold the same value in a relationship that I believe it does, which hurt to hear, but I have to respect her opinion. Before you comment, talk to her. I can assure you I have. We have had this discussion about every 6 months where I admit that I am sexually frustrated and want to talk about this in a completely neutral environment. Normally, the conversation leads to her crying and I apologize, or she says she will be more open to initiating, which never happens. I'm ashamed to bring this to Reddit, but I need a third party opinion. I love her so much and I'm hurting. What would be your kind of like advice for this guy?
That's a tough one, bro, because a lot of married men go through this when, you get married, and especially when the kids come in. For whatever reason, the woman just the sex just doesn't come as frequent as it used to when y'all were younger, and
Hmm.
y'all was wild. It was a little bit more wild and crazy or whatever. Um, I just you got to be careful, and but what I'm saying, I can't. I'm not going to tell you to leave your woman because of the sex. It's not coming as frequent. Um, The only thing I can think of is possibly just y'all going trying to try some counseling. Maybe there's some deep rooted shit going on, that
Yeah.
she just doesn't want to, display. Like
Hmm.
it's a tricky situation, man. Like it's tough, man. Because when I was married, I went through something similar to that, where my ex, sometimes I want to have sex and she wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
you can go long periods of time, and then after a while, it just like I don't want to keep asking. You know what I'm saying? Like, because in your mind, as a man, and this is for anybody that's not married or married, that's in a relationship with somebody that you love. Uh, After a while, as a man, you don't feel like you should have to like go to your woman and be like, "Huh, can we have sex?" You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Nah,
Like,
yeah.
it should be like kind of like if I get into that mood, you know what I'm
You
saying,
know
and
what time it is.
I give you the signal like, what's
All
up?
right. Yeah, yeah.
It shouldn't be, oh, well, I'm sleepy, I'm tired, my stomach hurt. You know what I'm saying? The the excuses they usually give you. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's just one of those things where you might just have to think about going to counseling.
Like, how important is sex in a relationship for you?
I think it's very important
Hmm.
because that's a part of an intimacy between you and your partner. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? No, is it the end all be all? No, it's not. But to a certain degree, it is. It kind of is because,
Hmm.
like I said, that's a level of intimacy between you and your partner that you are connecting on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, there are other levels of intimacy that you could have with your partner. Just you and her cuddling and watching a movie, or you and her just having a conversation.
Hmm.
Talking. That's other levels of intimacy. But physical intimacy is very important too. Because that's a
Hmm.
way of you showing how you feel about your lady. And then there's levels to it. I mean, of course, sex, you can have sex with anybody. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
But when you're with your woman or a woman is with their man, it's just different. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? The feeling is different when you laying with the person that you love rather than somebody you just, doing your thing with, and you just call them over and come over and just do this. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
the emotions are different, that the feeling is different. You feel that. So I think it's important. It is important because, and look, some people are more sexual than others. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where you have to be careful too. Because if you're a very sexual person and the woman or male that you're with is not, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that
Hmm.
could be a big problem for you. So you got to make sure that not only are you compatible as far as mentally and, some of the things you may like, whether, just some of the things that you may connect on outside of sex, but you got to make sure that you're compatible sexually too. You know what I'm saying? And you have a partner that shares the same interest when it comes to the bedroom,
Hmm.
because that can ruin a relationship. It really can.
Yeah.
And then that's when other stuff can creep in.
Hmm.
The man might start
Infidelity and all that.
cheating,
Yeah.
all that stuff. You get it from somebody else. You don't want that. You don't want to deal with that. And it's not. And I'm not sitting here saying that. that can always happen, but it leads to that. A lot of times when a man cheats on a woman, his wife or something like that, oh, I feel like you don't love me. You don't give me the attention that she gives me. And same thing with a woman. She'll say the same thing. Oh, you ain't giving me the attention that you used to give me. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's a sticky situation. I always suggest just go to some type of counselor. Maybe you get to the root of the problem. Maybe it's some deep issues within her. Maybe she don't feel sexy no more. Maybe she, whatever. Maybe it's just something else.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. Honestly, after reading that, man, maybe some kind of like counselor would help.
Mhm.
But I do believe that in most situations when you first start initiating contact with uh another person that you're interested in, there's always some sexual attraction there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So and with my man, he's trying to communicate with the girl, and she's promised to be more intimate, but that never happens. I just think maybe there might just be a situation where she just maybe not be sexually attracted to you no more.
Mhm.
With the ages, in the sense, she's 25-year-old female. Like, I think there's still some sexual urges there. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know. I just think in situations like that, like in today's society, you always got to be like a little skeptical on, if your girl don't want to like touch you, if your girl don't want to be near you, if you're like, I get people aren't as sexually active compared to others sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, you may just be a very sexual person compared to her, but
Mhm.
people still like to have sex, bro. Like, you ain't with nobody just to sit there and have a conversation with, and all that. Like, you gotta have some sexual attraction there. And if it's really that hard to get any kind of intimacy with your girl, you gotta really start looking in the mirror and be like, yo, is this something that I can foresee going forward? Or is maybe she interested in somebody else at that time? You know what I mean? So, it just comes with learning the relationship. Sometimes you may be compatible with that person, but in reality, you just aren't right for each other for that moment. You know what I mean? It might just be a moment thing where it's just like, in this moment in time, it just may not be the right moment, but maybe 10 years from down the line, it may be. You know what I mean? Relationships are weird like that at times. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I feel bad for my man. Like, the only advice I could be like, I'm like, yo, if conversation hasn't helped and she's promised to be that way, maybe it might be time to just kind of like take a step back, man, and then kind of just experiment with other people. You know what I mean? And then maybe she might come back to you. That's just kind of the risk you got to kind of take with that kind of situation. I know you
Are they
love her.
are they married or are they just together?
Let me see. It sounded like it was just more of like kind of like they're together, like boyfriend and girlfriend type of
Oh,
situation. Oh no, my wife. No, so they are married. So they
okay.
are married. So
Yeah.
um that's a little bit trickier than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you get the whole divorce situation. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough, man. Thoughts and prayers to you and your situation, brother.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll never be in a situation like that, even though it's probably more common than not. So hopefully you can find your
Yeah.
answer, brother.
Yeah. I mean, he's not alone.
No, no.
There's a lot of married men that go through that, and that's why I said when you get with a woman, you make sure y'all sexually, y'all got to be compatible on all things, and
Nah, yeah.
or at least most of the things. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be some things that she like that you don't like, and there's gonna be things that you like that she don't like. You know what I'm saying? That's common. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the bedroom,
Yeah, and then for her, sooner or later, like, yo, if you're not gonna please your man, he will find it somewhere else. That's just the reality of it. And it's just like, when it comes to a situation like that, like, I get infidelity is wrong. I'm not sitting there and saying it's something you should do, but in the reality of terms, if you're not gonna please your man, he will find it somewhere else. Just like if the man doesn't please the woman, she gonna find it for somewhere else. You know what I mean? She may love you, but in the meantime, she need that dick or he need that ass. Like, it's just the
mm,
reality of the situation, man. It's just human nature. So hopefully they can figure it out, because if not, there's gonna be some infidelity going on here pretty soon.
yeah, for sure. All right, man. You got anything else?
Nah, man, that's about it. You want to do flowers and hell no's, or you want to
Yeah.
wait till
No,
Monday?
no, we can do flowers here now.
Oh, okay.
Who you got your flowers to, man?
So my flowers, I'm gonna make it quick. I got two. First off, I said I'm gonna regurgitate this. Give flowers to the Negro League for finally getting the acknowledgement that they need. I said very important, very historical day, very happy day for the Black community and African American community. So shout out to them. And then also I want to give my flowers to Bill Walton. Recently
Mm.
passed away to cancer. Fuck cancer. Very very lightful guy. You know what I mean. Very colorful personality. One of the great centers in NBA history, probably one of the best centers in college basketball history. Sad to see him go, man. He always was very entertaining on the broadcast as well, man. So I want to give my flowers to him and prayers up to him and his family, man. Hopefully he's resting well upstairs, man. So shout out to him.
Yeah, I'm trying to mimic you, but yeah, I'm gonna give my flowers to both. The
Mm-hmm.
Negro League going, in their stats getting integrated to the NBA. I mean NBL, like we stated earlier in the episode that it's about time they got it right. And same thing, Bill Walton. You know what I'm saying? He was once a great basketball player until injuries kind of took his career a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a great player and a great color commentary guy. A very, very animated character. Um, and hey, man, he will be missed. And thoughts and prayers to the Walton family for sure.
Oh, and I also want to say flowers to Grayson Murray, the golf player who passed away during the tournament. Sad news. Unfortunately, he committed suicide. You know what I mean? So prayers out to his family. Flowers to them. Yo, if anybody got any mental health problems, man, make sure you call one of them suicide prevention hotlines. Whatever. Talk to somebody, man. That's a sad way to go out, man. I know a lot. I know mental health is a very big thing in today's society, man. So make sure y'all get the help that y'all need for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And who do your hell no goes to?
Another quick two piece. One goes to Fred Touche. He's a 98.5 on sports radio host in Boston. He kind of said some really unnecessary things about the Bill Walton death. You know what I mean? So he gets my hell nah, man. It's not. It's time and a place for all that, man, and that wasn't the right place. And then the other one goes to Bishop Dwight Reed. If you have not noticed, he's been kind of made a little famous here, where he's a 63-year-old bishop who has an 18-year-old wife who literally told his told told his church to like not look at his wife, you know what I mean, and not question it. And he gets my hell nah. It's just kind of disgusting behavior, man. That's 63 to 18. It's just not a really good look, man. So those two gentlemen get my hell no's of the week.
My hell no goes to San Diego police officer. Now, this is it happened a year ago, but this story has just been put to light. So, this police officer arrested a woman for car theft. She was in the back seat, arrested. She asked him if he was single. He said yes, but I know you're not. She said, well, we can get it on right now. He pulled over, turned off his body cam, did his due, and the dumbass locked himself in the backseat of the car. I had to call his partners, his other
Yeah.
fellow police officers, to come help him get out. He tried to tell them, hey, man, I was just trying to help her out. But you know them CSI forensic people are good. They found semen on his belt.
Mm.
And he had to resign.
And he busted a nut on himself. That's crazy.
Come on, brother.
You feel that's dirty work, man. You feel like scum, man, when you actually nut on your shit. That's crazy.
I'm just glad you ain't married, man, because that'd have really been too whammy. You lose your job and you probably lose your wife.
He must have been on retirement mode or something. He must have been already a foot out the door if he was willing to do that.
Or he was just some dumbass.
Nah, yeah, that too.
You
A lot
gotta
of
know that
dumbasses in the world.
you gotta know that the back seat don't have no handles on it, man.
You gotta know you gotta know that you can't get out of the backseat. You know what I mean? Like, come on, my guy. You gotta be smarter than that.
You a window down.
Was she even cute?
I don't know. I didn't see the woman.
Mm.
Hopefully she was. Hopefully
it was worth it, brother.
Worth his 20 minutes.
Nah, for real.
20 minutes.
Wasted a whole career for 20 minutes.
Yeah. So
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. Bye. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
all right, man. Let's give a shout out to Glitch Energy Drink.
Yes, sir. Let's give a shout out to Glitch, man. I said, oh, it's been rocking with us for a minute. Glitch Energy Drink offers a wide range of delicious flavors to suit everyone's taste preferences, whether you're into fruity flavors like Maui Punch, Cherry Bomb, Blue Smurf, and grenades. There's something for everyone. Glitch Energy Drink is not only great for gamers and workout warriors, but also for everyday people who simply need a boost of energy. It's a healthy choice that you can feel good about. You can find more information and purchase Glitch Energy Drink at glitchenergy.com. Remember to use the promo code Cris and Mal to get 10% off your purchases and start enjoying these great drinks, man. So shout out to Glitch, man. Use the promo code.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Glitch Energy Drink. All right, man. Whatever streaming platform you use to listen to your podcast, the Cris and Mal podcast is available, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, whatever you use to listen to your podcast on. Cris and Mal podcast is on there, so follow us. Also, if you're a first time watcher on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and Wednesdays, usually at 9 p.m., between 9:30 Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays. You can jump in the live with us. You can talk about some of these topics with us. We want you guys to be a part of this show just like we are. We want to interact with you guys on these topics. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Whatever social media platform you use, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Twitch, whatever you use to do your social media on, follow us at Cris and Mal. We will follow you back. We're just some guys who like to talk sports, music, you know, other things that's going on in this world. So
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and follow us, man. Interact with us. Hit us up. If you have a feedback, critique, if you even have a question or a topic that you want us to bring up on the show that is, related to the topics that we usually talk about, and we like it, we will bring it up on the show. We will shout you out on the show because, like I said, we want you guys to be a part of this show just like us. So go ahead and follow us and hit us up, and via email, DM. You could even just mention us, hit us up, and we'll hit you back.
For
So,
sure. 100%.
all right, people. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We won't be back till Wednesday because I'm going out of town. Going out.
Vacation mode. Boy, you excited? You
Yeah, man.
excited?
I will be in the ATL, so I'm gonna people on the ATL. Be out there, holler at your boy.
Yeah,
Me and
yeah.
the lady going to Atlanta for the weekend. Won't be back till like next Tuesday. So
For sure.
we'll be back next Wednesday, man. So
Yes, sir.
until then, we out.
Love.